So a lot of these in the club list, right, they're recommending Bleu de Chanel, they're recommending Aventus, and those are amazing fragrances. Those are fragrances I love, but those are not fragrances I think work in the club, because even though they have moderate projection and sillage, they're not going to be up with you till 6 a.m. They went to bed at midnight. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my favorite fragrances for the club. This is going to be a top 5 list, and all the fragrances on this list, one, have amazing projection and longevity, because you're in a club with a lot of people, and to stand out, you're going to need a fragrance that performs. Second, you don't know what time you're going to be leaving this club. It might be an hour, but you might be out till 6 a.m. in the morning, and you need a fragrance that lasts as long as you do. Next, despite all this, we still need a fragrance that's kind of unique, that has personality, and of course has fragrance character and smells amazing. You don't want to smell like everyone else, and just because it's a big fragrance doesn't mean that you don't want to smell unique. So number 5 on this list is Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. I love this fragrance for the reasons mentioned: the projection, the longevity, the character, but also it's a really nice, straightforward leather fragrance. And even though it's not, I don't find it super complex, it's leather on a base of woods, but it smells incredible and it projects, and you can constantly smell yourself, and you're gonna smell really good. It's also pretty easy to find. It's not in Tom Ford's Privé line, it's kind of his normal range, and so you can find it at Sephora. But even though it's accessible, it's not a fragrance that everyone wears, so you're still gonna smell unique. Number 4 on this list is Gentleman by Givenchy. Given this name, you might think this fragrance is kind of like a more daytime scent, but absolutely not. This is another leathery amber fragrance. It's absolutely incredible. And I love this fragrance for the club. It's based off of the old Gentleman Givenchy, which was this kind of like patchouli fougere. This new version, I think, is a lot warmer. There's still the patchouli, which gives this like warm sweetness, but then you have the woods and then a touch of leather. It's really, really good. Number 3 on my list is Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. And to me, this is the best tobacco vanilla pairing in a fragrance. It's a theme that's really explored by many houses and many brands, but Tom Ford was one of the first, and I still think he did it best. This fragrance is amazing. It is sexy and comforting at the same time, which maybe is a funny suggestion for the club, but it's really unique, again, really sexy. And I find that having something that's a bit cozy and cuddly in the club isn't a terrible idea. So again, it kind of depends what you want, but I definitely think this could fit the bill if you're maybe looking for love in the club. Number 2 on my list is Gucci Guilty Absolute. This is again another leather fragrance on a base of woods. You'll notice a theme here, and the reason is I really wanted to choose fragrances that had amazing projection and longevity. And it seems to be that these very base note materials are gonna give that to you. So this could also be, rebranded as my favorite woody ambery leather fragrances. Also like my favorite beast mode fragrances, my favorite sexy beast mode fragrances, because there are other beast mode fragrances, but these are probably the sexiest because, I don't know, I feel like sexy fits for the club. And so yes, this is a great fragrance for that, and again, just amazing projection and throw. And finally, my all-time favorite fragrance for the club is Kenzo OM Intense. And this takes the everyday cologne for the club and it does away with tradition. This is not an ambery, leathery wood. This is a aquatic, fruity wood, which is kind of completely different. And the reason we don't have a lot of those in this list is because usually that category does not have the projection and longevity that I think you need in the club. So a lot of these in the club list, right, they're recommending Bleu de Chanel, they're recommending Aventus, and those are amazing fragrances. Those are fragrances I love, but those are not fragrances I think work in the club, because even though they have moderate projection and sillage, they're not going to be up with you till 6 a.m. They went to bed at midnight. So I'm giving you fragrances here that are going to be up with you all night. Kenzo OM Intense to me is one of the sexy, fruity, aquatic, woody fragrances that is going to stay up with you all night. I think fruity notes in men's fragrances are very underrated. No one ever thinks of like a fruity men's fragrances, but that is what you're seeing with Aventus, with the pineapple note, and with Bleu de Chanel. There's lemon and some other citruses and other fruity notes in there, and they are just really sexy. I've talked about this before, but the fragrances that women find sexy on men and the fragrances that men pick for themselves are very different. I think women really love that fruity twist. So here you have the fig, and the fig really pairs with this delicious creamy sandalwood. That's the wood here. So you have this like enticement of this aquatic, which is fresh, and in a club full of sweaty people, to have someone smelling fresh is an oasis. Then, you really bring them in with that like fun, fruity note, and then the creamy, sexy woods. And this fragrance lasts on clothes for like 4 days. When I do my favorite men's fragrances for 2021, I know this is gonna be on top of the list, unless there's some, new launch that blows my mind in the next 2 months, but I don't think so. This really is like, I'm gonna sing poetic about this fragrance until at least the end of the year. Yeah, so I definitely think it's worth checking out. And yeah, I would also love to know what your guys' favorite club fragrances are. What do you wear to the club? Are clubs open in your city? They only just opened up here in Paris about a month ago. And yeah, let me know. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking this video and subscribing. And for those of you who do subscribe, thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Bye, everyone.